My new video series is called John Always Wanted to Become a Director. So I'm going to start previewing my feature film debut as a director. Actually, I made a Super 8 feature film in the 70s, which should count, but it was not edited or completed. So this will be my second feature, and hopefully this will be released in some form or fashion. So here I am at the apartments that when I first moved to Murfreesboro struck me as being out of date because they were actually mid-century modern, and I thought there's something out of date and a little bit sinister and perhaps tacky about these apartments, so I'm going to show them to you. I can imagine that in their day, which I would say was probably the late 60s or even the early 70s, because in the South everything's a little bit slower in happening culturally. But I would say when these apartments were new, and perhaps they're condos now, they were the height of modernity and of elegance. So I've always been fascinated by these apartments. I always wondered whether they'd be worth living in, you know, whether they'd be nice to live in or whether they're creepy. They're kind of on the edge of a not so good neighborhood, which is a disadvantage. When it was built, this was a pretty new suburb of Murfreesboro, and it was a lot nicer. Now I see very pleasurably to me a mid-60s Cadillac, which is ironic because it fits with the era of these apartments. It's looks like a sort of survivor model. I'll take a look at it and show you what it looks like. It's a four-door sedan DeVille. It's got aftermarket wheels, which I don't care for, but it's a very nice model of a Cadillac in the mid to late 60s. And it's sort of funny that in the movie Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt drives a Cadillac, which belongs to his employer. And look at these fins. They're actually very tasteful. They still had the fins. They hadn't shorn the fins yet. They're very nice. So this is the first part of the projected feature-length film by John Hoffs, who's always wanted to be a director, and now he's just taking the bull by the horns and he's directing his second feature, so far untitled.